Okay, this is a rundown of where I'm at. This is a 2-year progress, I guess, of what's happened to me. So we'll go through everything in brief summary. I'm going to speed this up. I'm going to chop out some pauses and stuff. Back 2 years ago, it's been a little over 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with colorectal cancer. Just want to put a PSA out there to everybody. Go get checked. Make sure that you have an idea what's going on in your shit. Getting back to the topic at hand. I was diagnosed in July of 2021 when I had my colonoscopy, and the doctor told me when I was in a drugged up stupor from the anesthesiologist doing his thing. I had colorectal cancer. Figured out afterwards that I needed to go through a couple of things. It was pretty serious. They didn't really know what stage it was. All they knew was that they needed to get it staged, try to figure out what was going on with me. And the first part of this whole thing was to get me ready for chemotherapy. So I needed to go through. They were saying I was at least going through about 12 rounds of chemotherapy to see how that was working, and then they would take a look at possibly going through a tumor removal surgery around that time. So I had the initial surgery on August 11th of 2021. Got my chemo port put in on that surgery. Was fitted with a colostomy bag. That sucks. Another PSA, go get checked early and often. Just letting you guys know, you don't want one of those. So I had a colostomy bag until I went in for my tumor removal surgery. I started chemo in September of 2021. A chemo cocktail called FOLFOX, F-O-L-F-O-X, FOLFOX. So, started chemo in September, and then shortly after that, they diagnosed me with stage 4 cancer. So, went from my ass to my lymph nodes, and now I've got stage 4 because it spread. Yeah, so after that, there was a very long time where I was on chemo. Turned out that it wasn't 12 sessions. It turned out to be 29 sessions of chemotherapy that I had to go through before they stopped and they got me ready for surgery. About a year into it, I had this round of radiation treatment. That really screwed me up. Radiation treatment did like a number on me. I think it screwed up a whole bunch of stuff inside of me along with the tumor, as well as gave just was in horrible shape right after that for weeks. Just nauseous, throwing up, had just horrible stomach problems, and just a combination of the radiation and the chemo really screwed me up. Okay, so we stopped chemotherapy at session 29. I don't know if I told you that. Session 29, late October. In November, I went to Portland to see my mom and dad. In December, beginning of December, we went to Mexico with some family and friends. And Deborah and I got married on the beach. It was all very romantic at sunset. We were officially married a while back, but this was a very nice celebration of our wedding together, our marriage together. So I was scheduled for tumor removal surgery on December 12th, 2022, right after we got back from Mexico. That went rather well, I thought. I thought I was recovering pretty well from that. I seemed to recover from surgeries pretty decently. It did take a lot longer than I thought. It was pretty extensive surgery. I think it lasted for about 7 hours, and it took out a lot of stuff that I previously needed in my body, but apparently don't need anymore. So they got rid of that. And they did this horrible thing. They changed me from a colonoscopy to an ileoscopy, which is a horrendous switch from your large intestines to your small intestines, and I won't get into that. From the time of the tumor removal surgery to the time of the ostomy takedown on 3/13 of 23, I was waiting to get that thing off. So the day before, 2 days before I went in for my ostomy takedown, I had noticed that I had some additional swelling in my ankle. They said they were going to take a look at it inside the hospital. They didn't really take a look at it very well. I ended up having some blood clots. After the ostomy takedown, during my recovery period, I had a significant amount of swelling that happened in my left leg. So I went on blood thinners in April timeframe, and then I was also I talked to my oncologist at Stanford, and he suggested that I get back on chemo about the same time, just to get through with the 4 additional sessions that I had left of the FOLFOX from rest before. It just kept increasing. The swelling in my leg kept increasing. At one point I measured a difference of 4.5 inches in diameter from my right leg to my left leg. So there was some significant swelling that was happening. I had just recently started to talk with my oncologist, local oncologist, about starting chemo again, and mentioned the swelling to him, and he suggested that I go into the emergency room at Stanford, so if I needed to be admitted, I would be admitted there. Turned out that they admitted me. I had a CT scan at Stanford on 5/4 on May 4th. On May 4th, 2023, I ended up going into the emergency room at Stanford. They did admit me. They took CT scans of my abdomen and my chest, and they took an ultrasound. They took an ultrasound of my leg to identify the blood clots. So they did identify the blood clots. They identified that I had pulmonary embolism, so I had blood clots in my lungs. And then they wanted to admit me to keep me for observation. After they admitted me, they took another CT scan of my abdomen. And shortly after that, I received a visit from 2 oncologist students that worked for Dr. Johnson, my primary oncology doctor. And they said the tumor was back, and that it was pressing up against a vein in my back, and it was causing the blood clots and the swelling in my left leg. And that the only thing that they could do is to put me back on chemo and see if that will reduce the size of the tumor and alleviate the swelling on that's pressing up against my vein and causing the blood clots. During that time, my leg, as I mentioned, my leg was extremely sore, large. I couldn't walk for long distances at all. I couldn't take Stella for a normal walk up the street and back, which is about a half a mile at the most, probably half a mile. Or the long walk couldn't even think about the long walk, which would be a mile. So I talked to my doctor about that, and they had mentioned that I should talk with an interventional surgery team who would talk to me about the possibility of getting a stent put in place to alleviate the pressure. So I went through that process, talked with that group, set up an appointment to have that surgery at the end of July. That's 4 or 5 chemo sessions later, and I'm doing better. The chemo has been helping the swelling in my leg considerably. So it's going in the right direction. because I've had such good results, I canceled the intervention surgery that was scheduled for the end of July. Not going to have that anymore. Just going to continue to have chemo. So I just recently had a CT scan last Wednesday. I received a copy of the CT scan results. Everything looks like it's going in the right direction. We're going to continue the same chemo route, and it seems to be going in the right direction. So we're just going to continue and hope that everything goes well. 2-year summary. 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. With the cancer that I have at that time, the likelihood of my survival is 41% of reaching the 5-year mark from the time I was diagnosed. So since the tumor removal surgery was not successful, statistically, I have a 41% chance of making it to July 2026. 8 months ago, when I had the tumor surgery, right after we celebrated our wedding on the beach, I had tremendous hopes that this was going to be positive, that I was going to have a great result. My doctor kicked ass, and I thought I was going to be one of those survivors. 3 months ago, when I was told that the cancer came back, and it was positive the cancer came back, both Deborah and I got smacked in the face with a picture of my mortality. So what's going to happen? Let me see. I'm probably going to be on chemo for the rest of my life. I don't think I'm going to ever get off. I'm going in around 6, and things are going well right now. My swelling is decreased every single time, so I'm hoping that it'll continue that way. The way I look at it, 15% of my life is negatively affected by chemotherapy. However, 85% of my life is available for me to take advantage of. That's kind of the summary. I'm doing all I can to make sure that the remaining years of my life are productive and meaningful, and having a job, fruitful job at Joby, keeps me active, keeps my mind active, keeps me with insurance, so it keeps me alive, which is a fantastic thing. For everyone that's been supporting me so far, thank you very much for all of your support. I can't pay you back, so I appreciate everything. Take care, everybody. Go get checked. Go get a colonoscopy if you're due for it. Even if it's coming up in a couple of years, just get it early. Just do it. Just get it early. Okay, take care, everybody. Later.